First of all, I want to tell you guys I'm really sorry about all the noise that you're going to hear in the background. Um, Sometimes I don't even want to make a vlog because of all the noise, but then I tell myself, there are a lot of you guys who are able to ignore it. Some of you guys might become irritated by it. I'm talking about that sound right there and other toys. Um, but I'm going to try to give you guys advice on how I prevented a lot of my stretch marks that I believe I could have had I not taken these precautions. Um, First of all, let me let you know that a lot of times the advice that I give um, doesn't apply to everyone, obviously. Everyone is different. Nobody has the exact same skin and has the exact same background, etc. So this is in my particular case, this is what worked for me. And if you feel like maybe your skin tone or your skin type is very similar to mine, then maybe, this will work for you if you are planning on having a baby.
Look at what I made.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome, baby. Good job. Okay, so
What I made.
good job, baby. My mom gave birth to 4 children. The last child that my mom had, the fifth one, was actually adopted. But aside from those, from my adopted brother, which is relevant because I'm talking about going through a pregnancy. Um, the 4 pregnancies that she had 0 stretch marks. Nothing. Her entire body was completely smooth. Even through the last days of her life, her skin was like beautiful and clean from any stretch marks or anything. Um, unfortunately, Unfortunately, when I went through puberty, I did get stretch marks. And one of the first things that they tell you regarding stretch marks is that they are hereditary. And so if your mom had them or your dad had them, then you'll probably have them too. So when I became pregnant, I thought, well, my mom didn't have them, so maybe I won't have them. But I did have them in my adolescent years. I did get them around this area here and also in my lower back. Since then, they've faded. I'm going to be 35 years old this year, so this started happening when I was about, I don't know, maybe 12, 13 years old because of a growth spurt. Anyway, so that's a little bit of my background. So I have like my little notes for how I remember preventing the stretch marks. Now that I went through the pregnancy, I did have just a little bit of light stretch marks. It really isn't a big deal. Hold on a minute. So as soon as I found out that I was pregnant, I went out and I bought myself like this 2-liter bottle. I believe it's 2 liters or 1.5 liters. I don't remember, but I still have it. And what I would do is at the end of my workday every day, I would refill it so that in the mornings when I would come into work, I would have a full bottle. And what I would do is I would make sure that by the time it was lunchtime, I would have already finished that entire bottle just by sipping it and sipping it for the first 3 to 4 hours of my day in the office. And yes, oh my gosh, was I in the bathroom every 10 minutes. But you know what? Going to the bathroom is an inconvenience, but it is so good for your body. If you know about why water is good for you, you know why it's good to go to the bathroom often. If you don't know, just Google it and find out why it's good to drink water. But the basics are that it just flushes you out, it restores your body. So anyway, it's just so good for you. But yes, I was literally going to the bathroom every 10 to 15 minutes. And it was a little embarrassing because I did have to walk through my coworkers and stuff and to get to the bathroom. And there I was, especially like towards the end when like your stomach is really big and like it's like pressing against your baby's pressing against your organs and it's making you want to go even more. Or sometimes, when he was in my belly, he would kick me and I'd be like, oh, so I had to go like running to the bathroom to go pee. But yeah, I would finish one of those in the morning. And then right before I would go out to lunch, I would refill it again. And I would put that on my desk, go out to lunch, come back, and then I would finish at least half of it by the end of the day. At least, because by that time I was like done with water, but I would force myself to drink a little bit more, and I was just constantly drinking water. And not only is this good for you when you're pregnant, but it's also good for you when you're obviously when you're not pregnant. It's good for everybody. But having being pregnant just takes up so much of your water as it is. I mean, you drink water, and most of it is going to the benefit of the baby, the amniotic fluid that's in your belly. I mean, it's just you need to consume more water than usual. And so because of this, if you're not drinking enough water, you know what's going to suffer is you. Basically, you're going to suffer because your body's going to give everything to your baby to make sure your baby's healthy and happy, but you're going to suffer, which is why a lot of girls end up with stretch marks because they're not drinking enough water. They don't have that moisture that's going to their skin. And a lot of girls think that if they just put cocoa butter or creams on the outside of their skin, then the inside isn't going to suffer. But you have to remember that you have all these layers of skin that the cream is not going to. So you have to not only help your stretch marks from the outside, but you definitely have to work on the inside. So another thing that I would do is I would eat 1 to 2 oranges per day, and also nuts or green leafy vegetables, and this would help with all of my vitamin C, vitamin E, but just eating foods that are just really healthy like this really helped to nourish me from the inside. And if not, if you don't like vegetables or you don't like oranges or any food that is very high in vitamin C, which is unfortunate, which is very unfortunate if you don't like this type of food, you can take supplements and that should be okay, but just make sure that you talk to your doctor about the types of supplements that you can take while you're pregnant. The other thing is that you have to eat a lot of foods that are high in fatty acids, such as a little bit of vegetable oil, a little bit of fish oils here and there. When I was pregnant, I was taking omega-3 and omega-6 fish oil supplements, and I did take those under the care of my doctor. So I did take the actual pills to her, and I showed them to her, and I said, "Can I take these?" And she said it was fine. So just make sure you take them and that you don't have any allergies towards the fish oils. Also, applying cocoa butter or applying almond or coconut oil on your belly, yes, it does help and it does aid almonds with the outside layer of your skin. So yes, I definitely believe that just applying that every day, starting from, hold on a minute. So let's just pretend that like this is my belly right here, okay? And you know once your belly gets really, really big, it goes like almost down here, you know. So what you're going to do is you're going to apply it from all the way up here, going all the way on the sides, and then even all the way on the bottoms. Like, I mean, you might end up applying some lotion to your pubic hairs, but it doesn't matter. You want to get it all the way to the bottom. Sorry if that's TMI. Once you're in the shower, then you want to loofah your skin, you know, when you're in there, and just kind of really gently take off the dead layers of skin on top. And last, but definitely not least, is really important that you don't gain weight really fast. Now I know that when you go to your like biweekly checkups or your monthly checkups or whatever, they will check your weight and they'll tell you, you know what, you're gaining weight a little too fast or you're not gaining enough weight or whatever, so they keep track of your weight. Make sure you do that from home too. And they're not trying to, when they tell you that you're gaining too much weight, they're not trying to turn you into like a supermodel or anything like that. They're just trying to protect your body from, I mean, your body's already going through a lot of stress with the pregnancy. It's already working really hard every single second that the baby is inside of you for 9 months. For every single second, it's working so hard. You don't want to add even more pressure by gaining additional weight. So that's why you stick to a healthy diet. And I know that like when I was pregnant, one of the things that I used to love to eat was every Sunday we would go eat somewhere, and I would always want to go eat chicken and cheese enchiladas. That was my thing, which like now I'm like, ugh. I mean, I like them, but I'm not like obsessed with them where I have to feel like having them every day, you know. And I was also obsessed with chocolate chip cookies. Oh my gosh, I loved chocolate chip cookies. So what I would do is I would make my own, you know, go out and buy wheat flour and soy butter, and try not to use oils, and put in like nuts and raisins, as well as really small chocolate chips, um, to keep my intake really as healthy as I possibly could. As for the chicken enchiladas, as far as the chicken enchiladas, I would use like maybe 2 to 3 corn tortillas, and use just chicken, and try not to put any cream or anything that has dairy in it, like too much of that into the mix. And I would make my own, and it was just a much healthier choice. Although at the end of my pregnancy, I did end up going, I think it was 4 or 5 pounds over what I was allowed to go over. But like towards the end, I just gained the most weight. I just didn't care anymore. But it was already like the last 3 weeks. So 3 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks.
So those are the things that really helped me prevent my stretch marks. And at the end of the day, I've showed you guys my belly before, but in case you haven't seen it before,
And 5 weeks.
obviously I need a tan, but that's my belly. And I do have a little bit of stretch marks, but it's really not noticeable at all. And I've noticed that every year they just fade more and more. As far as sagging skin, I did have sagging skin immediately after having my baby. The one thing that really helped with that was just to continue with my healthy diet, drink a lot of water, and do a lot of planks, and the mountain climbers. If you don't know what those are, I have a video on a plank, but look them up. Mountain climbers, planks, planks for 45 seconds to a minute long, mountain climbers for like a minute. Just keep doing those like over and over. So like say for example, do 10 mountain climbers. So each one, for the first one you're going to do it for a minute long, then do 45 seconds to a minute of plank, and then go to, the 1 minute for the sorry, I'm losing my concentration. The 1 minute for the mountain climbers, and then the 45 seconds to a minute for a plank, and do, each of those together 10 times. And if you do that every day, you'll start to see a difference, especially if you are eating well. So yeah, doing all those things are what have helped me with my mommy belly. I was really scared before I got pregnant to have stretch marks. It was like one of my biggest fears, because I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. How am I going to wear a bikini? How am I going to do this? And how, you know what? After having a baby, even with the stretch marks that I feel like aren't really that bad, I know that if I would have seen a picture of my belly now, 10 or 5 years ago or whatever, I would have been like, oh my God, I don't want to have that belly. It's so ugly. My waist is so wide, and all these negative things. But honestly, it's like your whole mentality, well, for me at least, it really changes. Like now it's not about me, I don't really
I need to make a poo-poo.
I don't really think about myself the way that I did back then. Like my ego was just so, it was just so big back then. And now it's like I realize that at the end of the day, if I go to the beach and I'm wearing a bikini and my stretch marks are showing, but I have my little baby next to me, everybody's going to see why I have these stretch marks. I think people have this misconception that other people are going to look at your stretch marks and go, ugh, gross, like you must have them because whatever, I don't know. But people, at least when I see a woman with stretch marks, I understand. It's because she had a baby. It's not because of any other negative reason, Not because she's dirty, not because she's whatever negative thing you want to think people possibly think of you. So, my body is not perfect, and I don't think I will ever consider it to be perfect. But I've learned to understand that this life is no longer about me. It's now about making sure that my child is happy, because it's so funny, because even though remember I told you guys I had stretch marks right here, when I was nursing my baby, and sorry for the guys if this is TMI for you guys, but when I was nursing my baby, one of the sweetest things that I noticed is that he never cared. He didn't care about the stretch marks that I had on my body. You know, he never looked at my stomach and thought, like, oh, mom, gross. You know, I'm not gonna nurse. You know, they don't really care about any of that stuff. You know, they love you so much, no matter what you look like, and that's all that really mattered for me. Yes, you need to make one, not me. You do. We're potty training right now, so we have a little toilet right here. That's why you hear all the talk about poo-poo and pee-pee. Right? Okay, you guys. So, wow, this video is so long. I'm sorry. And
Mackenzie gonna push, and I'm in school.
be careful. Okay, guys, talk to you soon. I hope this was helpful. And if you have any tips for anyone else on how to prevent stretch marks, go ahead and leave them in the comments. Let me know if there's anything that was like very helpful for you to help you prevent your stretch marks. And if you have stretch marks, talk to me about it. Like, what's going on in your mind? Have you finally accepted that they're going to fade over the course of time? Or are you really still sad about it? Like, are you embarrassed to go out in public, like in a bikini or a midriff or anything like that? So talk to me, you guys. Bye.